Kim and Kim, and welcome to Ask Mom's podcast. Yay! Hi, this is Kim and Kim. Welcome to Ask Mom's podcast. We are not professionals, but we can share our experience and remind you that you're awesome. We're talking all things motherhood, the good, the tough, and everything in between. So today's episode of Ask Moms is both sides of bullying, being the bully or being bullied.
Yes. We talked about that we were going to do this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think my son was in grade 2 or 3, and long story short, every day he was getting tripped. The same kid was tripping him every day, and he would get up and everybody would laugh at him, and he would get up and he'd say, "Stop that," or whatever. And it went on for, I would say, weeks. It went on. And then he would tell us, and we'd say, get up, and you'd ask him not to do that. So I did talk to a teacher on the side, and anyway, nothing happened. So finally, he came home, and he was laughing, and he says, "Guess what happened today?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Oh, so-and-so tripped me, and it was really funny." And it broke my heart because he was getting tripped so much, and people accepted the fact that he got tripped, that he started to think it was funny and okay that he was getting tripped. Did you get that?
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, it was awful. So we went to the principal, and I think the student did get suspended for a couple of days. It didn't stop. So unfortunately, the only way it stopped is that one day out in the playground, he got tripped, and he stood up and he punched the kid in the face. I know.
How'd that go?
It was hard. I was struggling with it because after that, the kid stopped. So you don't want violence, but what do you do? Plus, they're grade 2 or 3, right? But violence isn't the answer. So what is? How do you stop that? Yeah, it was horrible, and it kept me up actually, and he would carry on in his life like it wasn't a lasting thing. Only I think because we supported him, but it really bothered me because we didn't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm. So that is really heartbreaking. The fact that it's so real even now, it definitely did affect everybody.
100%.
Right?
I'm telling the story, and it's still really bothering me,
Yeah.
and that was 22 years ago.
So that's why we're doing this episode today.
Yes.
We want to give you guys some help and hints on what to do in these situations because, boy, oh boy, it's not easy.
No.
Seriously, some of the most painful moments in a family is when your kids are being bullied. Hearing that they're alone, being made fun of, things like that, that's just, oh.
Oh, I know. It breaks your heart.
Our first reaction instinctively, because we would remember that what it was like when we were being bullied, was being outwardly upset, because that's natural. That's just an instinct.
Yeah.
And we want to pull them out of that situation saying, you don't have to play with them. Or by doing that, it can actually make them feel more alone, thinking things like, I must have done something wrong because people don't want to hang out with me, or I must have done something wrong because I didn't say the right thing or do the right thing. So the poor kids just don't have the tools yet to find the self-doubt to stop overthinking.
No, exactly. They don't, if it's not resolved and they've done everything that, they think they're supposed to do, and it still doesn't resolve it.
Yeah.
There's still all that self-doubt, right?
No, absolutely not.
So then what do we do, right? First, experts say we want our kids to feel like nothing's wrong with them, most importantly.
Yeah.
So there's strength in that alone.
Yeah.
If they can project whatever's happening back on the person that's doing it, even if it's in their own mind, there's nothing wrong with me.
Right.
So what's wrong with that person to do that? What's causing that? So that's the best tool to do is our presence, that connection. Just understanding what those moments are like for them. And once we can help our kids feel believed and heard, maybe we can start coaching them to also have them realize that, they're relevant. So there again, that strength, right?
Yeah.
That I'm worthy, I'm a good person, I don't deserve this, these type of things. So we can help them become more confident and ultimately help them, hopefully, avoid the lasting effects that bullying can have on a child. And as again, a lot of us know it's real. So I believe he's okay because that whole time, without even realizing, like we're not super amazing parents or anything by any means, but without realizing it, just by saying, no, that's not okay. And especially when he thought it was funny, that broke my heart. So just by him knowing that it's not him, that's not right, gives them a bit of strength and allows them, a better opportunity in their minds to deal with this kind of stuff, right? And again, a lot of us know, it's real.
It is real. So, like a few examples, say your kids can't make friends. The other kids are picking on them, and they've got nobody to play with, so they read books on their own during recess and lunch, right? Not being forced to because there's nothing else to do. You know? So these challenges, they might not be able to be solved overnight. We want our child to feel heard and know that they're not alone. A suggestion is to infuse yourself into these moments with them. Yeah. What were you doing? Where were you sitting? What did you see? Was it a nice day? Was it a rainy day? Started conversations. The questions really don't matter. It's the fact that you're living and reliving it with them, right?
Right. You're putting yourself in their environment.
And just knowing that you're interested, they can feel your compassion and know that you're living through these moments with them.
I can visualize how this could work, right? You might be sitting alone reading a book, like you said, Kim. Mm-hmm. You really enjoy reading a book. So you might be, or someone like you, might be the person that I'm fine just reading my book. But if I had wanted to go play with those kids, it's nice to know that I could have.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter that they shut me out and I have to read a book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you would want to know, or that child would want to know you're still welcome.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, the thought behind that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing, if you want to be by yourself and read a book, great, do that. But don't do it because you don't think you fit in or whatever, right? So we can't assume what they want, basically, is what I'm trying to say. They might want to read a book, like I said, instead of playing soccer or games with other kids. But they just want to be accepted to do that, right? So we can ask them what they would like to do. And that way we can help guide them. So we don't assume they want to play soccer. They might just want to read a book.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and then once we understand what they really want, maybe we can help them find friends with the same interests, right?
Yeah. That is really important, right? Because if you understand, like you said, what they really want to do, that's critical. So imagine a teacher is forcing the other kids to let you play on their baseball team. And to you, that's a nightmare. You hate sports. You feel so embarrassed. And
you're not good.
Right.
You feel like you're not good at it.
Exactly.
So here they are forced.
Yeah.
And then you don't really want to.
Right.
And then you end up not even supporting the team.
Right. And then you're giving the kids, just reasons to kind of go.
Yeah. So be careful when you force them to include them.
Yeah. So, tell her that the things that happen with our friends are really important and that it's important that we talk about these tricky situations.
Yeah.
And just remind them that we're just people and they can come to us because we believe them and we want to help them. So by putting yourself into what happened, you're building up the kids by making that connection and giving them the feeling of non-judgmental support, right? Being the cheerleader again.
And when you're asking those questions and you're responding like, oh, she said that and it was really mean. Oh, you must, how did you feel when she said that? And that alone is telling them, that, like you said, Kim, it doesn't matter what the questions are. It's how you're responding, and it's telling them that's not okay.
Yeah.
That you didn't do anything wrong. And without even saying you didn't do anything wrong, you're telling them that's not okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. In a nice, non-judgmental way. You're not being all upset on their behalf, right? So that
you got to stay calm.
Yeah.
Like you said before.
And also you can actually throw out some other words, feeling words like, are you was it happy? Did it make you feel happy? Mm-hmm. Or did it make you feel sad or angry? Okay. How about pretend play? So,
this is huge,
right?
To play pretend with
the kids.
They can visualize.
For example, Sky and Rubble of Paw Patrol. Oh, okay, Rubble,
Are you still
you
watching
can't play.
Paw Patrol?
I am. It's like my favorite. Oh, Rubble, you can't play. Sorry, Rubble, you can't play with us. You can do something like that, role playing, and then say, how do you think Rubble feels? What should Rubble say?
Yeah.
You know?
And she knows Rubble didn't do anything.
That's right.
And then if she says, well, Rubble would be sad and hurt feelings.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you understand how Rubble feels. Well, that's okay that you feel that way.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. So explaining anything to kids is always better with a story. There's so many great stories and books out there, like Robert Munch, Stephanie's Ponytail. That's a really good one. No one has a ponytail. Class makes fun of her. She's confident, and when the other kids start to copy her, she just keeps changing her ponytail to be more and more outrageous.
So I have to say, so I did read this book, and it was really sweet. I love how initially, like, the kids are making fun of her ponytail and stuff, and I think just for a minute, it kind of touched a nerve, like she was hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then she just got into herself. It's like, I don't care what they think. And then she just made it more and more outrageous. I love his books.
If we could only be like that.
Yeah. Well,
And-
sometimes we are, though.
Well, yes, and we're
sometimes, like,
actually.
choir practice.
And what about Dolly Parton's song, A Coat of Many Colors? I cannot hear that without getting choked up.
And that's a book as well.
But it's just such a great message,
Yeah.
too, right?
Okay.
Lunchbox Bully, Bird Boy. So these are just a few, but really cute children's stories that do encourage the self-confidence, resilience, encourage the kids, right?
Yeah. I think there's power in knowing it's not your fault.
Yeah. And
That
that you're
you
not
didn't-
the only one, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And you didn't do anything to deserve that.
No.
You don't deserve that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so for kids being bullied, let's summarize our top 3, okay? So first step, notice your urge to want to solve things for them. And remind yourself that infusing your presence is a powerful foundation. Thank them for speaking to you about them being bullied. And again, it's not okay. Number 2, make sure you know what your child really wants. Like, don't assume they want to play soccer. They might want to just read the book, right? Which would make it worse. And when they are being bullied, do they want to play with the kids, or do they just want the right to read the book?
Right. Yeah.
That's the other thing,
Yeah.
right? So if the kids are playing soccer, see them reading a book and they're bugging them, that's a different thing
That's right.
than the child wanting to play with them. Oh my God, this is all coming together. So the kids are playing soccer, making fun of the kid reading a book. A parent walks by or a teacher walks by, sees this happening, assuming the child's being left out of playing soccer. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
And all they really want is for the kids to be nice to them and allow them to read the book.
I wonder if they could find a really cool book about soccer.
Yeah, and
Or-
how it's okay to not want to play. Like,
Yeah.
give the kid the right
Yeah.
to read his book without being mean to him.
Or ask the one who's the reader, it's like, hey, can you read some books about soccer and find some really good tips for us and help us, or be a scorekeeper or something like that? You know,
If they want to do it,
if
though.
they want to. Yeah, they might
They
not.
might not even
Right.
want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's all about letting people be their own person without pushing them or bullying them, you know, because they're not participating in what you're doing,
Yeah.
or you don't want them to participate.
That's right.
So, number 3, and always remember that there's no right way to parent. So, doing research for this, I went to 3 clinical psychologists and typed in whatever, bullying or whatever, and all 3 of them said the same thing, that there's no right way to parent, because these situations can all be different. Like we're just talking about, does he really want to play soccer?
Right.
Or, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, so don't be so hard on yourself and
Yeah.
think that it's something you didn't do or you didn't socialize them enough. Or no, it's not that.
It's not plug and play.
No, no. It would be nice if it was,
Aw,
but.
no kidding.
And the other thing they pointed out is trust yourself, right? If your gut's telling you something that you need to follow up on,
Yeah.
just kind of get to the bottom. It doesn't always have to be like a big rage,
No.
but just be aware and get to the bottom of things.
Yeah. If your spidey senses are tingling,
Yeah.
investigate.
Yeah. And if you need to vent,
That's right.
send us a comment and we'll
Yeah.
send you an email.
So, as Taylor Swift says, if they don't like you for being yourself, be yourself even more.
Oh, I like that.
I do too. So, okay, on the flip side, what makes a person a bully?
Okay, so I have to say, even though that I kind of experienced bullying when I was younger, and my son did for sure, I have to say, though, I kind of have a little special part in my heart for bullies. Because we mentioned this before, right? People aren't born nasty, right?
Yes.
Something's happened somewhere, or they're following somebody's example or something like,
Yeah.
So we thought it was important to not only talk about the child being bullied, but also,
Okay, so what are a few things that does make a person a bully? Wanting to dominate others and improve their social status, right? You can see that. But why? Why would they do that? So it may be low self-esteem, and they want to feel better about themselves, so they make somebody else feel worse about themselves.
yeah.
How about having a lack of remorse or failing to recognize their behavior as a problem? That's huge. If they don't even recognize how they're making somebody else feel, they need some help there.
And that can just be a glitch in their attributes
Yeah.
that they're not there yet.
Attributes, well done.
Right.
Remember that episode? How about feeling angry, frustrated, or jealous? We don't know what's going on out there.
No.
In their world, we don't see everything. We don't see anything, really. Struggling socially. That's huge, too, right?
Yeah.
How about being the victim of bullying themselves, right?
A lot of times.
Yeah.
And when they're a victim and it's not addressed, then, they grow up feeling that's the norm.
Right. Yeah. That's what they
Right.
see.
That's what they see.
That's what they live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can't wait that they're not the victim anymore, that they can, cause someone else to be the, yeah, it's a mess.
So this is so starting to sound more like a cry for help, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That's what you and I were thinking. And it's one of those things, too, that it's a cry for help, but it's a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
So people's first reaction is, oh, that kid,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Where we have no idea what's going on in that kid's life.
Right.
And actually, we did find out what was going on in my son's bully's life, and it was not good.
Aw.
No.
I hope it was addressed and that bully got some help.
Yeah, I believe that he did.
Good.
But it all like a story for another time. But it all stemmed from his parents, and so I even feel sorry for him now. But when you're going through
Yeah.
it, it's not fun.
No.
So anyway, you said it, sister. So we've said it before. No one's born a bully, right? Things have happened along the way, so let's help them. Like, what do we do? Well, so first, it's hard for any parent to believe that their child's bullying another child, but sometimes it happens. So you might feel shocked or worried, fearful or defensive. So these are all normal, of course. Bullying's not normal behavior, so we need to just come to that agreement. Bullying is not normal behavior. A stage kids go through, that is not normal. It's not part of growing up. So we need to take this seriously and find out, come on, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are you being like this?
That's right. So parents, step in. You've got to take strong and immediate action. You want to stop bullying and the behavior getting out of hand, right? So here's a few suggestions of what you can do. Manage your reactions, and that's not easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remove the emotions part.
Mm-hmm.
Get all the facts. Calmly talk to your child. Talk. This is concerning. What is going on to make you feel you have to act this way? And then work to resolve the situation.
Yeah. So this is the parents talking to their bullies.
That's right.
Manage your reactions. I know it's so tempting because you're so embarrassed and heartbroken
upset.
you're heartbroken that your child would be like that,
I
right?
know, yeah.
So it's hard not to blast them, but it's so easy to say in a podcast, right? But to just kind of remain calm and really open your mind and listen not only to his words or her words, but what's going on behind the words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is that coming from, right?
Mm-hmm. You might have to delve a little deeper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're not in the calm moment, then just step away. Take
Perfect.
the deep breaths and just wait.
Yeah, perfect idea.
Yeah. Readdress it later.
Yeah, I can't deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Or I can't. Let's talk about this in a few minutes or something, right?
Yeah. We need it to be a positive interaction.
Yeah. So again, just manage your reactions, get the facts. So it could be difficult to try to listen to what other people are saying about your child. So getting the facts and managing your reactions are not only for your child that's a bully, but it's for the people that are trying to communicate to you what's going on. Manage that reaction of, well, my kid wouldn't do that or whatever, right? So it's going to be hard, but try to listen to what others are saying about your child, and thank the parent, teacher, or whoever for informing you, and acknowledge how difficult it must have been for them to make the call. Because some parents, it would be hard, especially if you're friends with them or something. That would be hard to make that call.
It would. You've got to be pretty mature because you'd feel insulted and your back would get up, right?
Yeah. And it softens the blow a little bit if you just say, thanks for telling me. Because then it's giving them a bit of a comfort that you're going to look into it and manage that, right?
Yeah.
So tell the teacher or parent that, you're taking it seriously and you're going to do everything you can to get this behavior to stop.
Don't have any hard feelings against the person who brought this to your attention, right? Because that took a lot of guts for them to do that.
Yeah. Well, at least at first, until you get to know
what
the facts
That's
are,
right. Yes. We'll address this. So now you've got to take the time to process this information, right? Don't jump the gun. And that's not easy. So just same thing, step away, take down the facts, get as much detail as you can, follow up if you need to get further understanding or information, help whatever you need to address this problem, right?
You know what? That's a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when you're in the moment talking to the person, whoever it is, make that statement. I hope you don't mind, but I might call you back, right? Like if something comes up that I kind of need to talk to you about, I might call you back about that. And then that way they're not blindsided and, they're open to that, right? Because it's all at the same time you're saying that you're going to handle it.
Yes.
Right? So
however you react, your little one is also watching you, right? So if you stay calm, remember those stress exercises we talked about, mindfulness, deep breathing, insert here. So try talking over first with a trusted friend, right? Get their perspective.
Right.
Or, are you making a big deal? Is this not a little thing? Are you going about it the right way?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do if I had a child that was a bully. I would talk to someone I trusted that, was not going to go all over the place and, guess what, Kim told me about.
Oh, yeah.
But, and they might be able to give you perspective, too. They might say, well, I kind of noticed this. No, I never noticed that.
Right.
Depending on whatever the situation is, they might give you a little insight, too.
Mm-hmm. No, that's valuable.
Yeah. So, to me, one of the most important, you just talk with your child, calmly, and just, even if it veers off to something else, you'll get a sense of where their head's at, right? And why they're acting that way.
Yes.
And again, you got to remain calm and in control. If you feel yourself, like Kim said before, if you feel yourself getting out of control, you just say, oh, I'm going to go get a glass of water, or I'll be back in a minute, or whatever, and pull yourself together. Just be open with them. Tell them you got a call. Tell them what happened. Say, I got a call and that, I need to know what happened. So if you remain calm and approachable, you might hear a lot more. Avoiding using strong-arm tactics, as this reaction often models bullying itself, sending them in the room and locking the door, like nasty stuff.
Yeah. That's not a good message.
That never helps.
No.
And that is actually reaction on your part, right? So that's the time you need to step away, like Kim says, and just pull yourself together.
You've got to be calm. And so when you're with the little one, explain that whatever happened, you're going to help them, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to help them get through this.
Oh, I love how you're saying this.
Because
Kim, she's so awesome.
Uh-huh.
I love how you're saying this because it's so true.
It's absolutely. No,
go ahead.
Thank you. So ask your child, do you even know what they're talking about? What happened? Is any of this true? And if they can only tell you what the other child did, tell them that you want to hear that, but first you want to hear what they did. Yeah. So there's usually 3 sides to every story, right?
Yeah. The bully,
yeah,
the victim, and the truth. Right.
Yes.
Right, Kim.
Yes.
Good point.
And then ask them, how would you feel if he or she did that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah. A little perspective.
Yeah. And God hopes that they don't feel like it's not of a result of somebody else doing it to them. And you can also find out if there's a pattern to the bullying when you talk to them. Like, how long has this been going on, right?
Oh.
Does your child target several children, or is it always the same one? Like, if it's the same one, are they jealous? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah,
right?
It has to be addressed.
Yeah. And what triggers bullying in your child? Is it always at lunchtime? Like, try to find out what is underneath.
Yeah, what's going on?
Why are they doing that?
And we're going to help them.
And help them, yeah.
Yeah.
We're thinking the same thing.
Right?
Help them out.
But the important thing is, and telling them and making sure that they know that bullying is unacceptable and it has to stop, right?
Yeah.
Let your child know that you're taking this super serious and that you will help to make sure it doesn't continue and that you'll find a solution together, right?
Yes.
Both of you. You're a team.
Yeah.
Don't lecture. This bullying is unacceptable and it must stop. Keep it at that.
Yeah.
Talking it over. This can be helpful to find out if your child is upset, unhappy, jealous, or maybe they've been bullied. So find out what's going on in their world. And please don't be hesitant to seek medical support if you can't uncover the root source. And they themselves don't understand their behavior, right?
Yeah.
Aw. So we love all kids. They need guidance or support, whatever that looks like.
So as much as I wanted to, strangle a little kid that kept tripping my son, at the end of the day, I ended up feeling sorry for him once I realized what was happening. But we need to understand bullies. It's not acceptable. Don't get me wrong. But no one is born like that, right? We need to help them. So things you can do with your child.
Yeah. So help them to understand exactly what he or she did and to be accountable and responsive, right? By saying they're sorry and finding a way to move forward.
And you got a point there, too, because sometimes maybe they don't even know what they did.
Right.
It's so normal for them to be, a dink sometimes. Like,
and
they
if
might
that's
not
how
even
they're treated and that's just the norm.
Normal, yeah.
If they do that to somebody else and they don't realize, well, it's not okay. That's
and
how I'm treated.
And in their own mind, they think they're being honest that they didn't realize.
Ooh. Make clear, simple, specific rules and offer the encouragement when these rules are followed, right? Set age-appropriate consequences and follow through. Give your child some goals and reward their good behavior. I like that. And increase supervision for sure. Like on their activities, their friends, internet use, the phone, what's going on? Maybe be a bit of a...
Yeah, and they need that interaction.
Yeah.
Until you're comfortable that they're getting it.
And be a bit of a detective. See if maybe you can see. Maybe they're being bullied or something on the internet. Oh, okay. My next point was going to be engaging in their digital world, right? What apps are they using? What's going on?
Oh, huge.
And if somebody's sitting in a corner on their phone or something for hours and we can't see, and then they close it when we come near them, then maybe we need to take the next step.
And so for the parents that are listening, that are so busy and tired that you're thinking, I just can't.
They've got no horsepower left.
No, and they say, okay, get on your tablet or whatever. In the moments that you're not tired, maybe try to think of things they can do, or make a list of things they can do in the morning or something. So that you're not reacting or you're not giving in to the electronics all the time. Maybe have a little pre-plan in place so you can still get the time that you need, but at the same time they're engaged in something else. Do you know what I mean?
So the electronics are not a babysitter.
Exactly. And when you're too tired to say, okay, electronics, babysit my kid, have something else pre-planned.
Yeah.
Whether it's have a book laid out or a puzzle laid out or outside. Sit outside with your coffee and just watch them outside, like something, right? I think that's important too, because we forget that you don't have to have your kids stimulated every single second.
No.
And discover things themselves without having to rely on electronics or games, or they can think of things on their own.
Yeah. Oh, I like this. So make sure you do show the interest and concern.
Yes.
Help your child understand their feelings. And make sure you praise and notice their achievements, right? And channel their energy into productive activities, like you were saying too, right? Or non-productive, just sitting there together and just looking at the sky, looking at the birds.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a beautiful planet to just kind of discover.
Yeah.
Go for a walk.
Yeah. And it's a good lesson to teach them that it's okay to not be doing anything. We always feel like we have to have instant gratification. We have to be on something.
Yeah.
Something has to be stimulating us or keeping our interest.
Running from ballet to hockey to whatever.
So maybe a lot of us don't know how to just sit down and be quiet.
Yeah.
Be still.
Let's do it now.
Just the fact that you're noticing that they're doing something positive, and that'll make a world of a difference.
Kids just want to be with you. They really do.
Yeah.
They just want company, snuggle. They just want to be with you.
Okay, so let's
And they don't want to have to feel bad about it, right?
No, that's right.
Go away, you're hanging on me, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Redirect that into something else.
Put down our phones. Let's put our phones down.
Yeah.
And just do nothing.
Yeah.
Just sit with our little
Right
ones.
after this podcast.
As soon as you finish listening to us, put your phones down and just be with your little ones.
Yeah. So focus on teaching pro-social ways to deal with conflict. That's another thing. How do we deal with conflict, right?
Oh, yeah.
Frustration and ways to avoid situations.
Yeah.
So walk away. That's a suggestion we can make to them. Oh, you look stupid today, or just walk away. Deep breathing to cool off. Deep breathing works for, I would say, everything we've ever talked about on our podcast.
It does, doesn't it?
Somewhere in there, a big deep breath helps. Teach face-saving ways to fend off hassles from others. For example, the kids are like, nah, 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 and you're like, I'm not going there. Or whatever you say, or yeah, and just kind of walk away. Doing things as a family, perfect. That can create calm, it lowers stress, because you're with people you love and trust.
Yeah.
So that interaction is so important. That in itself calms you down and reduce conflict. But there's other ways to deal with things.
I think that's the key.
Right. And he just hadn't found that.
Right.
So, the only thing he could think of was to push him back. There was other ways. And the whole thing was not handled well.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of
address this.
On my side, it's just, there's just so many elements to this. It's not that it's cut and dried,
No.
He punched me, punch him back. It's not that simple.
One size does not fit all. This is a tough one. We could have just...
And it doesn't offer a solution. And I know for a fact that when he pushed him back, kids were happy. And they were like, way to go. So here he's getting support for doing exactly. So, thankfully that didn't develop a bully. But that's one of the ways bullies are developed, right?
True.
Like, remember they say if a bully, sometimes someone that's been bullied themselves. I truly believe this should almost be a course in school.
I was just going to say
how to be nice to people, and and how to be nice to people, and how to recognize that it's okay for people to be different and not have the same interests as you.
That's right.
Right?
And what are some good coping skills? If they could teach the kids that, both sides, the bully, how when they're feeling frustrated, or the one who's being bullied, if they can be taught some coping skills at a young age, and maybe we could nip this in the bud.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely.
I learned a lot, though, when I was researching, and I hope you all found this helpful. Experts say that even if bullying isn't an issue right now, they encourage us to discuss it so your kids will be prepared if it does happen. Didn't we just say that?
Absolutely.
School.
Totally.
A child that feels supported and confident in advance is best equipped to manage through bullying or have a potential bully stop and think and avoid taking action.
And remember, your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. So if you're being bullied or you're the bully, those are good words for you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much again for tuning in. We super appreciate you. And please connect with us by emailing askmomstoday@gmail.com.
And one more, if you don't mind, one more reminder that if you can't figure out why your child is being a bully, a suggestion that came up over and over again on research was to connect with a medical professional, because there could be something else going on that you're not aware of, right?
And that they can't help.
Psychological, or just they haven't developed that skill set yet, whatever.
Right.
So if you're not sure, if it's not an obvious, thing you can manage through, please consult medical experts.
Yeah, reach out. Don't let that go.
No.
Because, well, again, we hope you feel heard, supported, and empowered. And we know you do your best. And please remember that you're not alone.
So until next time, please take care of yourself. You've got this.